Geneva, 4th of July, 2023. UN human rights experts are asking Turkey not to deport over 100 members of a persecuted religious minority who were detained at the Turkish-Bulgarian border last month. They also called on the government to conduct a proper risk assessment of their situation to prevent any refoulement that may result in serious violations of their rights. Under international law, the government of Turkey is called to act in line with its obligation not to deport 101 members of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, who may be at risk of serious human rights violations if they are returned to their countries of origin, the experts said. On the 24th of May 2023, a group of 104 of the religious minority, including 27 women and 22 children, presented themselves at the Turkish side of the Kapıkule border seeking access to asylum in Bulgaria. Turkish police reportedly blocked them using excessive force, resulting in the injury of at least 30 members of the group, including 9 women. Turkish authorities took them into custody at the Edirne police station. The experts said many reported having been tortured or subjected to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment by police officers, including beatings, sexual harassment, and intentional deprivation of sleep. The group was then transferred to the Edirne Deportation Center, and the Turkish Ministry of Internal Affairs issued a deportation order for 101 individuals. Since the inception of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light in 1999, its members have been labeled as heretics and infidels and are often subjected to threats, violence, and illegal detention, the UN experts said. They are particularly at risk of detention due to blasphemy laws, in violation of their rights to freedom of religion or belief, they said. The group is composed of individuals who moved to Turkey from different Muslim-majority countries, having fled due to religious persecution. The experts said one of the individuals at risk of deportation spent 6 months in jail in his country of origin, having been accused of crimes such as denigrating Islam and offending the Prophet. Another 15 were recently released on bail after being arrested for belonging to what is considered a deviant sect in their country. The prohibition of refoulement is absolute and non-derogable under international human rights and refugee law, the experts said. States are obliged not to remove any individual from their territory when there are substantial grounds to believe the person could be subjected to serious human rights violations in the state of destination, the UN experts said. Given the risks of human rights violations this group faces as a religious minority, Turkey is required to make an individual, impartial, and independent assessment of the protection needs of each person and the risks they may face if returned to their countries, the experts said.
Today, a historical statement came out from the United Nations Human Rights Council's special procedure on the plight of our detained members in Turkey and the persecution our members are facing in Muslim-majority countries. The statement that came out today, signed on by the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Religion and Belief, and the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Minorities, and the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights of Migrants, and the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, and many other experts, adopted specifically a call on Turkey to annul deportation orders as they are in violation of the principle of non-refoulement. The statement specifically focused on the right of non-refoulement, that a human being should not be returned back to their country where they would be facing serious human rights violations. And it recognized that our members in their home countries have faced persecution, imprisonment, detainment, torture, and even threats of execution because of their faith in the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, and because of believing in the Qa'im, in the riser of the family of Muhammad, Abu Sadiq Abdullah Hashim, who we believe to be the awaited world savior. Because of the belief in him, because of the belief in this religion, the statement recognizes that this group have been persecuted in their home countries and that returning them there would be posing them to serious human rights violations. The statement spoke about the persecution against our members in Algeria who have been imprisoned for 6 months. It spoke about the arrest of 15 of our members in Iran. And it recognizes that this group, that members of this religion, are a persecuted religious minority and that these deportation orders should be annulled and that there should be a risk assessment for all of these members. I would like to thank Nazila Ghaniya, the UN Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Religion and Belief, and everyone in her office, specifically Eric Fortirelli, and all the other UN experts, and specifically also all the human rights organizations who have been working tirelessly from day one as this case started to alert the international community and to raise this issue as an emergency issue, specifically Human Rights Without Frontiers and CAP for the advocacy at the United Nations and at the OSCE. I would also like to thank the Border Violence Monitoring Network, who have also written the open letter from day one and have also alerted the international community to the plight of our members, a letter that was co-signed by 20 other European and international human rights organizations. I would like to thank the Association on Refugees and Migrants in Bulgaria, Mission Wings Bulgaria, and all the international and local and European human rights organizations who have adopted this case and who made today's victory and today's recognition possible. I would also like to thank all members of the media, but first and foremost the 104 detained members and their families. If it wasn't for the sacrifice of these 104, this case would not have been raised. And the topic of the persecution and the suffering of all refugees and all persecuted religious minorities would not have been raised to that level. But first and foremost, I would like to thank the Qa'im, the riser of the family of Muhammad, Abu Sadiq Abdullah Hashim. If it wasn't for him, this case would not have been raised to the highest levels in the world for the United Nations to issue the statement and to recognize the plight and the persecution of our members. We will continue fighting until our members are freed and until they are granted asylum to safely and freely practice their faith.